So yeah, I thought I'd do a video about what would I do differently, like what would I do differently in life. As it's no secret, I'm not gonna lie, I'm not exactly happy with how my life's turned out, where I am in life at the minute. Sort of stuff that's happened in the past and all that, and I don't know, it's probably a fair argument, and all these sort of hipsters and all, I don't know, saying, oh, you can't dwell on the past or and all that. But I don't know. I just thought just do a random video on what would I do differently. I think probably one of the big things I probably would do differently is like after school. I don't think I'd bother with higher education. I'd probably scrap that, try other things. I'd probably try and focus on experience so that I don't know, potentially volunteering, maybe Oxfam. Maybe I just wasn't in the right frame of mind, but I don't know, a different frame of mind. Possibly try and get a job, because that's just how the real world works. And I don't know, like I've mentioned that I've got Asperger's, and I think as someone who's got Asperger's, you tend to take niche interests. So I think it's fair to say that I'm someone that has took niche artistic interests, where I did art and design at college and animation at uni, but I don't know, like, so I've clearly got artistic interests, like, but I never had like a clear direction. I never really had a clear sort of art form I want to pursue, where I noticed other students usually had like a clear, more of like a clear, narrow direction they wanted to go, like whether they wanted to be a graphic designer, a tattoo artist. That seemed to be a common one because you had a lot of like edgelords, edgy people. But that's just young teenagers in general, to be honest, who were into all that sort of stuff. Um, Fine artist, I probably lean a bit more towards the fine art sort of stuff, but I don't know, I've dabbled with a few things. I think me picking animation was clearly like a panic decision where I didn't really know what direction I wanted to go, because at the time of picking universities, my mum were ill, so I felt very alone and had that pressure of, oh, I'm in my last year of college, I need to do something, I need to try and do something. So I was looking at a lot of like illustration sort of courses and animation. Probably should have done a combination of both, if anything, but ended up doing animation, and probably not the worst choice in the world, because animation is an art form that is a rare art form that can involve a lot of things. So that's probably a positive going, but ultimately I just don't think it really was some of that worked out for me and didn't really do anything for my life, and it just turned out to be useless. I think all of it was useless. So yeah, I don't think higher education, is something people should bother with really, unless you've got a clear direction in life, you've got a clear goal in life. Maybe an apprenticeship is probably a better option, where it's something that actually leads to a job, because the real world is money, unfortunately, whether we like it or not. Not saying that's something I'm happy with, but the real world is work, money, and that's just how it is. Not taking niche ambitions. Like, obviously, I think I knew the importance of money, and you can't do anything without money, but I just, that naive sort of mind that I fancied my chances, thinking, no, I could probably try and make money out of niche interests, which usually turns out to be very unlikely or very difficult to do. Not that it's impossible, but it's probably next to impossible, if you're a normal, traditional working class person like myself. And probably just slowed me down and complicated things, set me up for disappointment, and probably eventually led to me where I currently am now, a failure in life. Like a lot of people say you're not a failure in life, but I don't know. I don't exactly think the system helps. I think the system's useless and rubbish and don't do anything, so I can blame them as well. But when you got a label like Asperger's, some people just see nothing but the label, and there's something wrong with you, basically. I think that's how the system sees me, probably like adult care and what have you. Just see nothing but the label, they see nothing but the disability. And another thing is, I don't know if I think I should have tried maybe looking into travelling instead of doing education. Like, visit the world, work abroad. Don't know how. Like, I don't think that's impossible. Like, it's proven that people have done that in the past. So I do think that is kind of a realistic ambition, but it's complicated. It's about what immigration rights and stuff, which I don't really know the ins and outs of. Like, I think at the minute New Zealand is the country that appeals to me, and it's probably one of the more easier places to immigrate to because it's part of the British Empire, it's part of the Commonwealth, I think, and so that'd be one of the easier options. But I don't know, I just don't know if I really had the right support. I've commented on my dad, the way he did things is very stubborn, he's reckless in thinking, so he acts before he thinks, where he does stuff like threatens to sell the house, then probably regrets it later on, because that's the sort of guy he is. Potentially needs diagnosing, like very loves that fast-paced lifestyle, acts before you thinks, possibly ADHD or what have you, maybe Asperger's even, fuck knows. But that's going off topic a bit. And I just don't think I really had any support, because leaving school around that time, this was a time where I started losing contact with people, and when you lose contact with people, you're alone, and it felt like for me you just left to figure it out yourself, do it yourself, I feel. And that's probably proven to not really end well, to be honest, where the lid blew off a pressure cooker. Whereas I think a lot of people that succeed probably have that luxury and privilege of having social circles, family connections, healthier family connections, which I think some people actually have, a privileged lot, like probably middle class lot. I just don't think I had that, to be honest. A lot of people just think once you turn 18 you can do it yourself, you can figure it out yourself, which probably says a lot about the sort of people in my family, the sort of people I was surrounded by, because I just think at the end of the day it's just a sign of people just not really being bothered, and I think there's a lot of people who are just not bothered. Sign of the time, especially these days with the rise of social media and all that. Like, I do think social media's ruined a lot of things. Like, I was watching an old TV show that was in like the mid 2000s called Balls of Steel, and that came out at a time before Facebook, before social media, and you can just tell that it was different time then. There was no bullshit like these days. There's a lot of bullshit. A lot of people spoon feed you bullshit now with TikTok, Instagram, social media, where a lot of my algorithms just, I don't know, just utter bollocks, utter fucking shit. Like, mainly my Instagram algorithm's just a bunch of fucking women wagging their tits about, because the algorithms picked up that I probably like my women. And that's that. It's utter bollocks. These fake TikToker types with not much personality. But yeah, I think that's the main thing I'd do differently. I don't know if I've forgotten to mention anything else. Fuck education off, because I think education's useless for the most part. Unless you got a clear direction, like the obvious ones, like being a doctor or a lawyer and all that bullshit, even though having a laws degree can be useless as well, but I don't know, I can't speak for that. But I just find education for the most part to be useless and doesn't do anything for anyone in life. It's a scam. The way the world works, the way the modern world works, I just don't think education works. It's useless. You might as well focus on getting experience, focus on travelling, focus on enjoying yourself probably. So that's working abroad and all that sort of stuff, and that would have been the best direction really. And there was a fucking mistake. Thought, looking back at it now, I just don't think the way my life has turned out, there was any. I should have bothered with that, to be honest. There's no use in it. Don't think I've got anything else to say on that. Might have forgotten to say a few things, but yeah.